I wish to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I work and live, and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community. I pay respect to elders past, present and emerging of the Gayeri people. Welcome to Emerald, approximately 873.1 kilometres northwest of Brisbane. I've called this remote town my home for 22 years and can honestly say I've never really observed, experienced or evaluated the way Indigenous viewpoints and cultures are visible and valued in my everyday environment. South of Emerald is the Cullen Laringo Station, now a memorial for the non-Indigenous lives lost at the hands of the Gayeri people, and Fort Rainworth, which was built to resist attacks from the Aboriginal people. East of Emerald is the Blackdown Tablelands, a national park featuring the rock art and history of the Gungaloo people. Southeast of Emerald is the Carnarvon National Park, featuring reminders of the Bidjara, Karingbal and Karakara people through rock art sites, burial places and occupational sites. All of these places are great reminders of Aboriginal tribes throughout central Queensland, but do they represent Indigenous viewpoints and cultures in the everyday environment? Definitely not. While walking around our community, I was thinking about what constitutes as displaying Indigenous viewpoints and cultures. Throughout the botanical gardens, we have plenty of native flora and fauna, Aboriginal artwork and the Nagoa River as a feature. However, there are plenty of man-made features such as rose gardens, gazebos and multiple play areas for children as well. In one of the larger parks, mainly used for sporting events, there is a large painting of sunflowers displaying a plant Emerald's farmers are known for growing. Not too far from that is another Aboriginal-based painting and a sculpture of a native lizard from the area. It's quite sad to see how any small representation of Aboriginal history around my community is overshadowed by man-made structures and the values of non-Indigenous community members. Being predominantly a mining and farming area, everywhere I look is a developing site. More homes, more shops, more schools, more buildings, more roads. This means less wildlife, less nature, less natural surroundings, less native history, less country and culture. The absence of the Gayeri culture, skills, practices and knowledge made me stop and think about the history lessons I shrugged off as boring and irrelevant to me. Why should I feel sad about what happened 100+ years ago? It's not like it affects the Indigenous people of today. But now I feel an overwhelming sense of shame that I ever had those thoughts. Of course, forcing our Indigenous Australians into European norms by preventing their skills, culture, practices and knowledge from being carried on, taking away their basic rights and forcing their children into European schooling systems affected the Aboriginal people of past, present and future. A flooding feeling of grief and sorrow overwhelmed me over the unnecessary pain and suffering of many Indigenous people. With this comes an acknowledgement of needing to know more about and become more accepting of the true custodians of the land I've called home for 22 years.